Welcome back, my friend. Look at this message as a message from the universe for you, guiding you at this present stage of your life. It is a reminder for you to know that your pain is not a failure. Whatever you feel as a sense of pain due to something you've been through or something you have been doing, something you have been repeating, it's not a failure. I want to give you a bit different approach to it so you can cope with what you're feeling through a more constructive way, so you can channel it into something productive in your life, so you can release what has been stored and turn it into a creative inspiration. So walk with me for a moment. You see, what you feel as a pain, it may be emotional, it may be psychological, even physical sometimes. No, it's a signal, a message from the depths of your body and even deeper of your beingness, crying out to be understood. Only once you fully listen it, you can know what to do with it. If it's physical, then you know that you need some help, you need some support, like sometimes a massage, and sometimes talking with an expert. If it's emotional, all it needs is your spiritual ear to really hear what was suppressed and then feel it until it's released. And if it's psychological, it needs reframing. So you need to hear the story you're telling to yourself and then acknowledge it and reframe it. I will take you through it. But so far until now, many times you've been reaching for tools like substances, certain destructive philosophies or just limiting philosophies, or familiar yet painful patterns. And then you've been feeling guilty, or you've been feeling like you need to punish yourself. No, all these things are not your enemies. They're simply reflections of your journey, attempts to navigate the weight you carry. Many times you had no idea what to do with what you feel, so you've looking for something to cope with it. And all these things worked for a specific purpose. But you've came to the point on your journey where you know that you deserve more and that you could experience more if you would let go of what doesn't work for you anymore. So you sought relief with what you had at hand. And that was brave. That was brave, my friend. You could do nothing, but you've been looking for something. Perhaps the choices you made kind of dulled the sharpness of your suffering, and that's why you kept using them or doing them or thinking these thoughts. Perhaps they gave you meaning to the void, and it felt okay, but you've noticed it's not okay. It's not helpful. So hear this, my friend. Your essence was never defined by your struggles, nor by the tools you use to cope. Whatever you've done, it doesn't define you. Whatever you thought about yourself and everything you've done, it doesn't define you. It was a part of your journey, but it doesn't define you, which means you can change. It means you can do things differently. You can treat yourself differently, and it's not too late. Those were just chapters in your story, not its conclusion. And I want you to really remember this, because you've come to the point of your life where you're ready for something more. And know that when you doubt your own worth, you often reach for what is familiar, even if it hurts, right? Familiar places, familiar people, familiar patterns. Yes, they attract you not because they are good, but because they are known, they are familiar. And oftentimes this kind of destructive repetition is not a weakness. Like you would say, oh, I'm such a bad person, I'm such a weak person because I can't break this old habit. It's not a weakness. You just need to know better. You need to know something new that will actually work for you. Therefore, what you've been doing is not a weakness. You've been just lacking something. And that's what I want to provide today to you. You see, what you've been repeating, or however you've been repeating these destructive behaviors or certain painful patterns, it's the mind's way of trying to solve the riddle of the past. That's how you've been trying to solve it. But the answers you seek are rarely found in the same cycles of pain. That's why you've come to the point where you're ready to evolve into something better. You see, for a long time you've been repeating something that was not healthy for you. But now you've recognized, I am ready for something new. So if I could offer you one truth today to hold close, it's this. Your worth is not negotiable. You do not need to prove it. You do not need to justify it. You need only believe it. When you embrace your own value, the world begins to shift in your favor. The relationships you choose, the places you go, and the thoughts you nurture will no longer reflect the wounds of your past. They will reflect the promise of your future. So to acknowledge your worth, my friend, you need to recognize that you are so much more than what you've done or what you've been through. You need to recognize that inside of all this chaos, there are certain strengths you're carrying within as well. There are certain qualities you're carrying within as well. And because your mind was so attached to familiar, you've often neglected the good parts of you, the strengths of you, the powerful, beautiful, creative aspects of you. And when you start looking at them, they start looking at you. You start noticing that you could express yourself differently. You could treat yourself differently. You could embody new behavior and walk a different path only when you choose to feel worthy of it. When you choose that what you've done doesn't really define your worth. Your worth is often defined by your belief, by your identity, by seeing yourself in a new life. You deserve forgiveness every time you choose to forgive yourself. So remember, my friend, you're not doomed to repeat what has been. Faulty tools can be replaced. Old wounds can heal. Patterns can be broken. Yeah, this is not an easy work, but it's worth it. Because you are worth it. You are worth it, my friend. So the first step is to believe that you deserve more. Oh, welcome here. Welcome, my friend. Once you believe that you deserve more, whatever more is for you, maybe more aliveness, maybe more bliss, maybe more happiness, maybe more good relationships, maybe more love, more peace, more meaning. How can you find more of it? Well, firstly, you need to see more of it. How can you see more of it if you're surrounded with the lack of it? Well, you move yourself into a new surrounding, or you surround yourself with something that contains more of love, peace, meaning, whatever you know that you deserve, right? You can't really change if you don't change your environment. And most of the time, it's not like you need to move to a new place. If it's a situation for you, then find out to do it. But often it's just adapting your environment to what you know that you deserve. Like, make it more beautiful, make it more pleasant, put some inspiring books there so you can read them, some paintings on the wall, some art around you, some quotes, make it like a sanctuary. You don't be perfectionist around it, but Make your environment the way that will reflect what you know that you deserve, and you will already feel so much more empowered. But then you need to understand that also your body is an environment. It's an environment of your mind and of your heart. And your body will start changing when you will recognize that if you deserve more health, if you deserve more energy, if you deserve more joy in your life, how can you give that to your body? How the environment, the biology of your body can adapt to that new energy, to that new experiences, to those new experiences, to all those new sensations? Well, you need to ask yourself what people who have more of this are doing, so you could adopt some of these behaviors, and you will notice your body is a very adaptable creature. It's a very adaptable being, and all it needs is a guidance. It needs an intention and actionable guidance, and you're the one that is guiding it. For most of the time, you've been living the way that your body was guiding you, and it was guiding you by its pleasures. It was guiding you by its temptations, because that's when it has experienced kind of a dimming of pain, but it led to more pain. So you've noticed that maybe your body is not the best guidance when it comes to living a good life. Maybe it will be far better if your body starts following your guidance, like you as the soul, as the being inside that incredible body. What if you would start guiding it? And yeah, you come to the realization that life is quite complex and you maybe don't know what to do. So start with what you want. Start with clear intentions, what you want out of your life. Then how can you make it happen? Then when will you be doing it? How long will you be doing it? And how will you approach yourself and your life when it will be hard, when you will feel negative emotions, when you will feel lack of energy? What will you do at those times? Find support for you. Find at least one person that will support you when it will be hard, like a mentor, a coach, a therapist, someone that will support you when it will be hard. That's how you kind of empower yourself with better tools that will not just help you to cope with what you feel, it will help you to build yourself into that future self that you're looking up to right now. And it can be done. It can be done because you're not alone going through this. Many have walked this path before you. They too flattered. Yes, they did. They too questioned their choices and their worth. Yes, we all do. But in the questioning, there is a spark of hope, isn't it? The spark is the beginning of transformation. Perhaps metamorphosis for you. It's the spark, my friend. So take a step. Listen to the spark. Even if, you can barely hear it. Take a step. Doesn't matter how small. Find better tools. Forgive yourself for the ones you used before. Forgive yourself for being so hard on yourself because you didn't know better. Forgive yourself for being so tough on yourself because you had no better language to speak to you. Forgive yourself because you just had no idea what else can be done. Forgive yourself for being consistent with abusing yourself. Forgive yourself. It was done. So forgive yourself. But also surround yourself with people, with ideas that challenge you to grow, that challenge you to expand, that challenge you to be better. Not those that make staying small easier. You're stronger than you know, my friend, and your future is brighter than you dare to imagine. So understand that the familiar is not always your friend. Choose the unknown when it promises growth, even if it feels uncomfortable. Yes. Many times the unknown will take you onto a very weird journey, because there will be a lot of uncertainty and you will feel discomfortable about it. But eventually, this exact uncertainty will build confidence inside of you, because you will notice that eventually things work out. Sometimes they firstly break you. They break you because you've been holding on to something unsustainable, to something unhealthy. And life introduces you to new outlooks, to new experiences. And sometimes new experiences are firstly experienced through pain and fear, because of course we are scared of what may happen. But then eventually, as any fear, we recognize it was a bit empty. And once we embrace it, we notice it was quite awesome. Even if it was scary and painful at that moment, eventually it was awesome and it changed us. So know that there must be balance between the familiar and not so familiar, between the known things and completely unknown things, between doing easy tasks and doing so hard tasks that they will challenge you to such a degree that you will need to grow, that you will need to question everything a little bit. But also know that your worth is the foundation of your life. When you strengthen it, everything will rise through you. Know that your worth, is the foundation of your life. Strengthen it, my friend. It's not strengthened by saying an affirmation to you. It's by believing into it wholeheartedly, knowing it, experiencing it with your whole body. Like when you say to yourself, I'm worthy, it's empty. But if you close your eyes and really find this spot inside of you that really feels worthy, and if you can't find it, it's most probably because you still believe that you're not worthy of something greater because you've done something bad. And acknowledge it, be okay with it. Like you can't change what you've done, but you can acknowledge it, accept it as a part of your journey, but slowly let it go. Just ask yourself, what would happen if you would really deserve something better? What would happen? What would change? And as soon as you think about this, you will notice that you are worthy of it. And when you feel that you're worthy of it, try to increase it. And you will notice that sense is not so familiar to you, so you will lose it. That's why you need to keep returning back into it, into this new feeling. You see, feelings are like muscles. They are wired in the brain. And until certain new connections are wired, they require repetition. Like muscles grow through repetition, also brain pathways grow through repetition. And new pathways will allow you to feel new feelings. So worthiness is not just something you feel, it gets wired in your brain. It's a belief system, it's a perception, it's a self-awareness thing, and it's a thinking pattern that requires repetition. Also know, my friend, that healing begins where courage meets responsibility. So be brave enough to take ownership of your path. Your path doesn't need to be clear. It doesn't need to make sense. But take ownership of it. You will know that as soon as most of the things are up on you, you are doing it right. And when you will do your best with it, when you will know that you've done truly your best, like there could be done anything else, the right people will show up. Not when you need them, when you think you need them, but when you will truly need them, they will show up. So don't hold on to your beliefs around when something should happen, but just keep doing your best. Healing begins when courage meets responsibility. Powerful one. And also know that transformation is not a single moment. It is the accumulation of small, persistent steps toward a life you believe that you deserve. One love, my friend. You got this.